Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be a channeled collective message for the Twin Flames. And so I came into an abundance of downloads over the last couple of days following the new moon in Scorpio. And so I feel there's a lot of energy going on between the 9th house, the 1st house, the 2nd house, and the 12th house. And so I was shown like the Phoenix rising energy, and I feel many of the divine masculines are experiencing this very emotional change taking place. It's like the cosmic energies were infusing this new creative spark within the Twin Flame Collective, which essentially I feel is demanding the masculine to connect to deeper connections, right? To have that deeper soul to soul connection with the feminine. And so there's a rebalancing taking place when it comes to some new creative ideas, the masculine trusting his intuition as he learns to kind of navigate all of these heightened emotional energies. And so we're kind of in the energy of ushering in this great change when it comes to the age of Aquarius. We're ushering in this new era, this new age of Aquarius. And so the age of Aquarius is all about innovation. And so we're in this kind of time-space portal going on right now, which I feel is creating a lot of upheaval during this time frame for the divine masculines. There's a lot of unpredictable energy. There's a lot of challenges I feel many of the divine masculines are facing when it comes to that status quo foundation. And there's like this prodding and probing energy that is kind of pushing the masculine out of those states of complacency. And this can be very frightening as the masculine kind of goes into this uncharted territory. And so I was working with Amethyst, and I was deeply connected to the sacral chakra when it comes to these heightened emotional energies. And so I do feel there's some type of disruption playing out for many of the divine masculines when it comes to these stagnant patterns, whether it's a sudden unexpected breakup or a force of transformation when it comes to perhaps a sudden career change, an unexpected move. Maybe a lot of the masculines had to embrace an unexpected move when it comes to this radical change. It could be a radical change in beliefs with that Scorpio new moon, but I feel the masculine is kind of pushing the boundaries at this time, demanding freedom from that long-held karmic relationship cycle. And so there's a major re-evaluation going on in the energies as we kind of go through the next week and a half or so, preparing for the full moon in Gemini on November the 27th. And that's going to be, the full moon in Gemini is the energy of the lovers. And so I feel during this this portal energy, the masculine is learning to embrace all of these heightened emotions within him that have been deeply repressed, which is going to allow the divine masculine to be able to foster that deeper connection with the divine feminine as all of this untapped potential has kind of been unlocked. So many of the masculines can create a more authentic version of themselves. A lot of them wear masks, and they hide behind that status quo of materialism and comfort. But I feel there's this newfound understanding where the masculine is being pushed to connect with like-minded, inspirational people, to embrace these new doorways, these new possibilities for his spiritual growth, which has kind of been stunted in that status quo foundation. And so there's a lot of reflection, I feel, on the masculine's end in the energies when it comes to his self-expression and his authenticity. And we do have to come from a place of authentic expression if we are to strengthen any relationships in our lives. And when we come from a place of authenticity, that allows us to foster collaborations with others that are being their most authentic self. And so I felt a lot of throat chakra activations. Blue sapphire would be a wonderful stone to work with if you're struggling with finding that truth, speaking that truth. And so I feel the feminine is kind of coming into this alignment, and it's opening a lot of new doors and new possibilities, which is also helping the masculine expand his understanding of the world and embracing all of these new fresh perspectives, so he can explore the depths of the uncharted territories. And so the twins are here to foster both inner growth and outer growth, because as we transform from the inside out, we're here to bring these new forms, these new relationship forms into the collective. And so I know many of the twins have been called to release stagnant groups of friendships and to be more connected with people that are bringing you inspiration and joy. And so a lot of the twins too, we have these very unique lifestyles. We have to go through this very challenging ego death, where we're challenging our programmed beliefs, we're bringing in all of these new higher perspectives, and it is the process of like opening the mind to new ways of living, new ways of being. And so I do feel that karmic interaction, there was some sort of activation over the last few days when it comes to the divine masculine's personal spiritual transformation, to bring this broader sense of understanding of these cosmic energies. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines are reflecting, learning how to embrace this new exciting energy, which is also emotionally overwhelming. And I feel this was brought forward with the Uranus aspect to the new moon in Scorpio. So we had like an opposition between Uranus and Taurus and the new moon in Scorpio, which I spoke about in the new moon reading. And so a lot of the masculines are not able to fully express themselves, authentically express themselves in the karmic soul contracts. And so I feel the masculine really just wants to be nurtured, to nurture the feminine, and to strengthen this relationship for the next leg of their spiritual growth. And so I feel the masculine went through some type of awakening or opening, third eye opening, when it comes to these new perspectives. And so I do feel in order for the twins to cultivate and to achieve success, the masculine does have to learn how to authentically express affection and gratitude. Gratitude is a big one, right? And gratitude is the energy of being thankful for everything that you have, being grateful for everything that you have. And when we're rooted in a place of expressing our authentic affection and gratitude, this allows us to forge new connections, to create a new atmosphere of tranquility, right? Because we are here, the twins came here to cultivate harmonious relationships, to help others release any third-party karmic relationship cycles, and we do this through the heart. And so I did feel a higher heart activation, and if you're feeling the heaviness on the heart, blue lace agate would be a wonderful stone to work with. Meditate with it on the heart. I was doing that last night, and so what I was kind of shown in the downloads was this Jupiter's dance. And so it's a dance of duality, right? When it comes to Jupiter. And Jupiter brings in expansion and blessings, but Jupiter often will show us where we've been oversighted on the journey as well. And so it's this energy of this celestial cosmic shift, and Jupiter is all about good fortune. And so we're also in this echoing stage of cosmic rendition. And so it's like anti-Murphy's law, right? And so when everything kind of aligns, when the universe aligns, everything that should flourish will undoubtedly flourish, right? And so right now I feel the masculine's kind of in the labyrinth of the astrological cosmic texts and Akashic understanding, diving kind of really deep into the intricacies of Jupiter's expansive influences at this time. And so Jupiter is very benevolent, but with Jupiter in Taurus retrograde right now, there is huge potential for pitfalls when it comes to status quos and material comforts, right? And so we need to be able to seize the benevolence coming forward in order to create new opportunities, but that does require putting in the effort as well. And so I feel a lot of the masculines are bathing in this new expansive light that's surrounding them, kind of bathing in the Jupiter light. with the understanding that they need to exert themselves from that very karmic, stern, Saturnian and Plutonic relationship. And so although it's felt like a safe haven or a cushion, so to speak, of comfort, it is really daunting to stay in that comfort zone. And so I do feel, although they've been in this cushioned state of comfort, they've also been in a state of lies is how the universe showed that, right? And so Jupiter also brings forward a spiritual testing type energy. And so as we go through this very wonderful cosmic alignment in the energies, we do have to go within so we can all kind of reconsider how we can further cultivate harmonious relationships in our life. And when we're in a state of flow and we're able to enhance all aspects of our ability to express gratitude and affection for life as a whole, then Jupiter can really create an atmosphere of beauty, growth, and tranquility for us on the journey. And so when we embark upon the twin flame journey, it's not like we've asked for this, right? Nobody really wants to go looking for a twin flame. Those of us that are on the true twin flame path, trust me, if we could go back, we wouldn't want this. We didn't go looking for this. It kind of fell in our laps. 1122, that sync has been coming up huge for me. And so it's not like we go looking for this twin flame. It kind of just, as the cosmic energies align and guide the twins towards fulfilling this enriched connection and fulfilling their mission, it kind of just happens, right? And so I feel right now we're in a period of embracing positive energy so we can forge this new union, these new connections, because the twins did come here to leave a positive, lasting impression with our genuine and generous nature. I'm having a hard time talking. And so it's like a reevaluation of our goals, right? If we don't have a purpose, if we don't have a goal, how can we get organized in our lives, right? We're just going to be meandering through our lives with no purpose, no goals, no ambitions. And so the masculine is kind of returning to what it is that he neglected, which is the passion towards the feminine. And he can no longer justify the decision to stay in that very disorganized karmic cycle. And so the solar plexus. And so this is like the third dimension, the power struggle, right? And so right now I feel with Venus and Libra, we are at a time of reaching a state of equilibrium. And so I know a lot of the feminines, myself included, I've been feeling this deep sense of balance and harmony in my life. There's not a lot of conflict that I need to resolve. Everything's just very, very flowy. And so I do feel the masculine on the flip side is surrounded by some very unpleasant energies, especially when it comes to his own displays of ego authority, right? And so we're here to be natural, to be authentic, to come from a place of integrity. And so with the feminine kind of reaching a state of like inner grace, inner calm, it's a steady push of energy, I feel, on the masculine's end of the journey, of him wanting to take on the difficult task of facing the challenges. But it's like the energy around the masculine, pardon me, is like, why now? Why this now? Why now? After all of these years, why now? And so there's fear that needs to be overcome when it comes to the masculine learning to be assertive within his healthy sense of masculine energy, and to be unapologetic about what it is that he wants and to go after what it is that he knows he needs to do. And so when we choose to follow our passions, everything around us becomes a state of joy, right? When we're living a life of passion and purpose, then everything in our lives kind of just flows. I'm happier. Everybody around me is happier when I'm following my passions. And we're here to kind of help others and inspire them to do the same. And so when we are unapologetically ourselves, when we unapologetically follow our passions, then we inspire others to do the same. And so this is a huge lesson, I feel, for a lot of the twins, is to be able to fully assert their individuality. And so we got to navigate this, though, with a certain level of spiritual grace and understanding. And we have to find that balance, too, because We are here to be free within commitments, right? So there needs to be a balance between freedom and commitment, without any codependencies, because we are here to be independent, interdependent. And so I was like hearing the song, I Got the Eye of the Tiger. And so tigers I might be a good stone to work with when it comes to solar plexus and throat chakra, because I feel a lot of the divine masculines are experiencing this massive surge of energy, massive surge of stimulation, which is igniting this deep-seated restlessness within them, which is leading to a lot of frustrations, a lot of upset, especially in the distorted relationships. And so whether this is a mother, a husband, a wife, it's really not gender specific. Karmics can be many different soulmates within the masculine's life. But I feel the masculine is feeling hindered when it comes to a state of personal freedom, which is causing all kinds of conflicts and challenges with that karmic person, whoever that might be, whether it's a lover, a wife, a husband, a brother, a mother, a sister. And so I feel the masculine is now recognizing the need to break free, that a lot of the masculines stay in those status quo relationships due to society expectations, or, a social group that's connected to the both of them. And this is where the masculine is kind of at that divine why, being asked to establish his own path, right? And this can cause a lot of rebellion. I feel there's a lot of confusion and a lot of distress as the masculine is struggling to embrace this sudden change in attitude. And I feel there's a lot of resistance and clinging when it comes to that previous karmic commitment that the masculine is demanding more freedom from. And so I do feel there's a lot of imbalance, a lot of tension created in those karmic contracts, which is creating this unexpected and impulsive action on the masculine to be taken. And so I feel as the masculine asserts his independence, a lot of the feminines are feeling the need to kind of hermit and alienate themselves from anything around them at this time, so we can stay in that healthy state of balance and flow. But I feel the masculine deeply desires that meaningful connection and relationship with the feminine at this time. And so he's exploring and navigating these deep, dark aspects of self so he can deepen that understanding as to why he chose a karmic cycle. And so it's the energy of breaking the chains of that false sense of responsibility that the masculine has felt towards the karmic. And so there's a lot of redefinition when it comes to our life standards, a redefinition of maintaining our personal reality. And a lot of the twins are here to break traditions, right? We're here to break traditions and still our own traditions. And so I feel with Lilith and Virgo, this is a very shadowy, sovereign journey for the masculine. There's like a complexity kind of being woven within the cosmic tapestry. Oh my gosh. And so with Lilith and Virgo, this deals with themes of independence, sensuality, sexual shame. And so a lot of the masculines, I feel, are in this primal aspect of their inner feminine psyche at this point in time, which is bringing forward all of these repressed desires, these dormant, latent instincts that the masculine has stuffed down when it comes to his own nature, which maybe he's looked at as taboo, right, to go there. And so there's this unmistakable call to action for the divine masculine when it comes to confronting all of these areas of his life where he's been marginalized, unacknowledged, or shamed. And so when we are rooted in the emotion of shame, these deep-seated emotions will evoke a power within the masculine to reclaim his authenticity, especially where he feels he's been silenced or oppressed, like the Four of Cups energy. And so a lot of the masculines right now, I feel, are being urged to restructure their lives. And there's a lot of social group pressure that really has suppressed the masculine soul and created all of these unnecessary responsibilities that really have become a burden for the masculine. And running away is no longer going to be a solution. A lot of the masculines run away from the feminine. They run away. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to look in the mirror. But running away, I feel, is no longer an option in these energies. And I was shown like a burning bridge. And so I feel that bridge in the karmic contracts has been burned or will soon burn to the ground. And a lot of the masculines, I feel, are succumbing to some anger, which would be the sacred rage. And that is a pivot point on the journey too. The sacred rage is showing us where things have not been just and right, and what we need to do to reclaim our calm and our peace in our lives. And we are here to manifest peace. And so I feel the masculine is feeling threatened. The karmic at this point in time might be seeking revenge, like begging the masculine to see her worth. But I feel the masculine just wants to embrace freedom at this point in time. And he really does want to go back to the feminine without burning that bridge with her too. And so a lot of the masculines are dealing with issues with their confidence, with their self-image. That's really in focus right now, I feel, because a lot of the masculines overcompensate in other areas of their life where they're lacking in self-image and self-confidence, which would be like the material aspects. A lot of the masculines, they mask with alcohol or drugs or materialism and greed. A lot of the masculines overwork to avoid sitting with themselves and sitting with their emotions. And so we have to kind of sit with ourselves so we can become clear about the parts of who we are that we are here to re-identify with, so we can harness our authentic identity. And so it's a good time, I feel, right now in the energies for the masculine to work on self-improvement and to get his ego in line with his higher self. And so I think the masculine wants to be perceived a certain way. A lot of the masculines in the collective want to be perceived a certain way, but they haven't really taken the steps to embody the person that they truly want to be. And so there's a tension and discomforting energy that I feel is arising because there's discrepancies, right? And all of these energies are motivating the masculine to grow, to heal, and to build a greater self-awareness. And so it's like the disillusionment journey, 2216, I noticed. And so the masculine might need to explore a new career opportunity, and to do that through developing faith and trust. And so I know a lot of the feminines, we go through a massive career change. Some of us willingly go through the change, and some of us are forced onto the path, and we get stripped of everything that was a part of our lives before the twin flame recognition. And so like for myself, I lost my home business, my home daycare, and I was, I had to start over. And so I feel like a lot of third eye activations over the weekend, third eye expansion, a lot of visions coming forward as the masculine is learning to embrace all of these cosmic mystical influences. So labradorite would be a wonderful stone to work with the third eye if you're finding the energies really concentrated around that area. I know all day yesterday, massive headache as I received all of these downloads. And so the energies, I feel, are just having this very profound effect on the masculine's life, especially surrounding career. And I feel like this complete shift when it comes to their life goals and their ambitions. I also felt like this major state of confusion because they don't want to keep doing what they're doing with their life. I think at one point in time, they had some very clear objectives and goals. And now they're being forced into making all of these drastic changes, which is leading to a lot of confusion because of the bad decision that they made going towards the karmic without considering the long-term consequences. And so it's the energy of facing condemnation or judgment or the past consequences of the choices made. And so a lot of the masculines want to be this idealized father figure. But I feel with the energies playing out currently, it is the masculine going through ego transcendence. And so as the masculine goes through this, he's being asked to fully mature and develop that ego from a healthy state so he doesn't keep going in the wrong direction. And so a lot of the masculines are feeling inadequate right now as they're kind of restricted with their maybe ability to work. They could have been forced on a layoff or forced to go within and forced to rest, which will make a drastic difference in this transformational process. And so I feel right now the masculine is having a difficult time distinguishing between reality and fantasy. But I do feel a deep-seated inner knowing that the direction of the feminine is what's going to promise a lot of great rewards when it comes to building a realistic foundation rooted out of unconditional love. And so I was shown like the masculine flying off like Kundalini Airlines, and they are in pursuit of this vision. So I feel a lot of visions, and I feel they are so unprepared to handle all of these energies that are coming forward. And I do feel a need to change home or relocate because there could have been like a huge fallout at work when it comes to their career. But I feel they're very much feeling discouraged and angered and triggered because they have no control over everything that's kind of playing out in their life at this point in time. And so this is where we also learn to cultivate faith and trust that everything always turns out for the highest good. And so I think a lot of surprises as the masculine goes through this spiritual processing, and we do have to experience failures in order to end these cycles, right? Because the masculine is definitely not exactly where he wants to be. He's very dissatisfied. He's been looking at every little shiny thing to fill that void. And so right now the masculine is being asked to open himself up to these splendid mystical influences, because a lot of these masculines are here to be teachers, to teach about the natural cycles of life. And we are here to bring long-term positive effects into humanity and the collective moving forward to shift the collective consciousness. And so I do feel the masculine at this time, amidst all of the confusion, anger, and chaos, they are being guided to where they truly belong, which is the feminine. And so I wanted to share with you a song that I was channeling because I had to go out of town, and I helped an uncle of mine that is confined to a wheelchair decorate his house for Christmas with my mom, and it was kind of fun. And he's a rock and roll guy. And a song that really stuck with me on my way home from my uncle's house was Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. And so that was like on repeat in my head for like 2 days. And so go check it out on YouTube. I love some good old rock and roll. Like most people, I grew up in the 80s, but my uncle was a 70s kid, and him and I were kind of like brother and sister growing up. And so I just want to read to you some of the lyrics from that song, because this is where I feel a lot of the masculines are at. And so, carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher. I flew too high. Through my eyes I could see I was still a blind man. Through my mind, though my mind could think, I was still a madman. I hear the voices when I'm dreaming. I can hear them say, carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Masquerading as a man with a reason. My charade is the event of the season. And if I claim to be a wise man, well, it surely means that I don't know. On a stormy sea of emotion, tossed about, I'm like a ship on the ocean. I set a course for winds of fortune. But I hear the voices say, carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. No. Carry on. You will always remember. Carry on. No one can equal the splendor. Now your life's no longer empty. Surely heaven waits for you. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. So I found that very interesting, 2916. And so I also want to talk about some of the energies we're going to be up against leading into the weekend. We have Mercury, sextile Venus, the Sun trine Neptune, Mars trine Neptune, and the Sun conjunct Mars. And so I do feel Friday is a pivotal moment for the twins, with the Sun trine Neptune and Mars trine Neptune, both of those at 24 degrees 59. And so we're healing and closing out the second Saturn return energy. And so we go through usually 2 Saturn returns in our lifetime. If you live to have a 3rd Saturn return, then kudos to you. But usually we go through our first Saturn return around the age of 29. Maybe, you know, it's a couple year process. And then we usually go through our second Saturn return around 58, 59. And so a lot of the twins are clearing their second Saturn return now, depending on where you're at on the journey. But so I feel we're clearing a lot of age of Pisces themes, because Neptune is in Pisces, and then the Sun and Mars in Scorpio. And so I feel we're in the final stretch, right? And another big sync that came through for me was the 909 energy. And what I kept hearing from this angel number was truth and nonconformity. Truth and nonconformity. And so the 909 for twin flames is this symbol of the spiritual work that we're here to do. The journey of nonconformity, that is the spirit of twin flame, right? We're here to break the mold. It's a call to set aside judgment of others. And we are here to just focus on our own path. And so it can be a really lonely path to be a divine feminine on the journey and separation, as the masculine goes through that karmic cycle, depending on the different situations and things that they're here to learn, to grow, right? Because the divine feminine cannot teach the masculine what the karmic does, because the divine feminine teaches the masculine unconditional love, and the karmic is a negative teacher. And so we kind of go through the spiritual journey apart. And even though we're apart, we're still kind of together, right? Because we're never separate. So I feel there's a lot of luck and abundance coming in, a lot of love and joy, preparing for this twin flame reunion and union. And so I feel the masculines are opening up their hearts at this point in time, and they are embracing this connection unconditionally without judgment. And so I do feel like the twins, 909, that's a mirror, right? 909, it's a mirroring number sync. 919 was another big sync. 212, like all of the mirroring syncs are coming up. 777, huge lately too, 777. But we need to remember that we are mirrored souls, and we have to work on balancing our relationship with ourselves to balance the twin flame relationship externally. And so we do both go through a lot of external pressure on the journey to be normal, to fit into the status quo. But when we truly become unified at a soul level, we do have to learn to embrace this connection unconditionally. And that does mean being honest with ourselves and others every step of the way. And so if the masculines are not being honest, then they are probably still struggling with doubt at this stage on the journey. But I feel this is a positive reassurance for the divine feminine, that the masculine has been called to make these changes. And so trust your intuition. You know what's right for your own journey. No 2 twin flame journeys are the same, although the path may be similar. No 2 twin journeys are the same. And so really pay attention to the number of patterns that are being presented on your journey, because sometimes it feels like we get pulled in different directions, but there really is a divine plan in progress here that is working behind the scenes. And we kind of just need to stay the course with our direction, divine feminine, as the masculine gets pulled to follow it with us, right? And so there's definitely something out of place, it feels like, in the energies, but I feel the twins are headed in the right direction, which is union. And that's what that presence of that 0 energy brings forward. We're in the middle of a spiritual genesis when it comes to our spiritual abilities, and we're being guided onward and upward. And so in order to go onward and upward, we have to draw all of our attention inward, because that's where all the guidance resides for both of the twins, is inside. We already know what it is that we need to do to achieve union. But a lot of people, we seek all of that external validation. And so we're here to bring balance into our lives first and foremost. And so if the masculine is, like, if the feminine is in a state of balance, then the opposite of that would be the masculine needing to make big changes. And so I feel, though, we cannot wait any longer. These unions are kind of right in front of us. when it comes to improving a lot of things in our lives. And so I know oftentimes it feels like union can often be out of reach, but I feel the masculine is learning to discern. He's facing a lot of challenges. He's being confronted with all of his past choices and decisions throughout his entire life, his entire life's direction, right? And so everything is by design. And so I feel like a lot of the masculine stayed stuck in that Neptunian vibration of illusion, but as their heart opens wider and wider and wider, they are feeling that they are finally this channel for all of this universal love. And we are here to support and uplift others by the vibration that we hold. And so the twin flame path is a path of service, a service to our personal community, a service to the spiritual community, and service to all human beings and humanity. And so the twins hold a certain medicinal quality with their vibrational frequency. And so all forms of emotional and mental therapy and healing can be attained in this state of unconditional love, the frequency of unconditional love. And so we're here to harness emotional freedom, emotional trust, and the twins hold all of these high valued components when it comes to these new Aquarian ideals and, reprogramming what romantic love means for the collective. And so a lot of the feminines are very emotionally faithful to the masculine, even in separation, even though the masculines are in another relationship. We give priority to the virtues of the twin flame path. We stay close to that loving, faithful energy of the lesson, right? Of the twin flame lesson. And so we're learning lessons in selflessness this week. We're seeking truth. We're opening our heart. We're discovering our true self. And we're exploring all of these new dimensions within. It's within the consciousness. And a lot of us are being shown what our contribution is to the collective vision. And so we got to shift our focus from self to selfless. And so that brings a greater purpose, greater than ourselves, which allows us to unlock these new higher dimensions of self-discovery. And then we can feel rooted in self-fulfillment. And so it's so important on the twin flame journey to move away from self-centered intentions and self-centered interests. And we are encouraged to embark on this journey of self-discovery to master these valuable lessons, to go within and to protect your space and your boundaries. That is not selfish. There's a difference between selfishness and self-centered intentions rather than self-interest, right? And so I feel we have to be willing to embark upon this self-discovery journey and to, work within the spiritual community. We're here to help others learn how to diminish their ego and reveal their true inner selves too. A lot of the twins serve as, activators. I know for myself, I can activate a twin flame blueprint for people that are coming, even if they're not on the twin flame path, because ultimately the twin flame journey is union of self, right? And when we achieve that state of union of self, we can find this deeper sense of fulfillment with or without the physical union. But it usually all goes hand in hand. And so a lot of the twins came here to work together with a common purpose, a common goal, alongside other twin flame counterparts. And we're not here to be driven solely by financial gain, although the finances flow when you're in a state rooted in joy and abundance. And so when we're rooted in a state of deep sense of fulfillment by doing the work that we came here to do, the metaphysics of the journey will bring in the abundance as we stand in that spiritual truth. And so I feel this week, the energies are asking both of the twins to really connect to their greater purpose. There's a lot of radical shifts when it comes to perceptions, embracing a greater purpose for life, because what good is a plan without a deep-seated purpose, right? And so I feel many of the masculines are experiencing growth that they never experienced before, which is requiring them to go within and rest and relax as they clear all of this sacral energy. Selenite would be another really good stone to work with in the energies. But I feel with Mercury sextile Venus playing out this is also bringing a new appreciation of beauty towards the feminine. The energies this week are saying this is an excellent opportunity for resolution and for the masculine to break down any barriers around his heart so he can come in and fully express his love and affection towards the feminine, which means this will improve intimate relationships all across the board. And so I feel a beneficial week of closely bonding, more so with these unions as we develop the ability to resolve the inner and external conflicts and embrace the social responsibility that the twins did come here to harness. And so we are all capable of harnessing our latent talents and our latent gifts, and we are all capable of being a master in whatever chosen purpose that you decided on this life, which would likely be more connected to the North Node, South Node, 6th house, 12th house. But we have to allow our intuition to guide us as we gain this insight and knowledge. And so there's huge potential coming onto the weekend for successful reconciliation and reunion energy. The energies are leading to a powerful positive shift for the twins is what I'm feeling. And I do feel the masculine is being marked with all kinds of exploitation and hurtled into like the transformation process. So I feel we're in this high energy shift. We're going to have to harness the energy by staying rooted and grounded. So work with the root chakra. Yellow jasper would be a wonderful stone to work with the root chakra, because we're getting ready to start this new relationship cycle, these new projects. But we first kind of have to deal with the conflicts first. And we have to be willing to try something new, right? And so the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And so if we can find this enhanced drive out of all of these energies, we can bring a lot of positive changes into our lives, while at the same time nurturing emotional security within ourselves, learning to mother ourselves to create an energy of self-acceptance. And so all of these planetary alignments playing out are bringing forward this ignition energy, this drive, this ambition, propelling the masculine towards this new beginning, and maybe even a new business venture with the divine feminine. But it's like the opportune moment to go through this initiation for the masculine to speak his truth. And so I do feel the fear comes in because a lot of the feminines possess this high vibe, self-assurance, and strength. And a lot of the feminines take the lead in all areas of the spiritual journey. And a lot of the feminines don't need a lot of assistance. And so how the masculine perceives your current situation now might be influenced by his lingering insecurities and doubts, right? And I just got to say, social media, not everything is what you see, right? Nobody puts the bad stuff on social media. We always put the good stuff. And so I feel it's crucial to reflect on how satisfied you are with your own personal situation. But I do feel the masculine is really examining his feelings for you honestly at this time to gain a deeper understanding of all of his underlying insecurities when it comes to how they have manifested negatively in his life. And so reflection, right? I think there's a lot of reflection on how the masculine can use this energy and this drive to bring positive changes in his life while nurturing himself. So I was going to pull some cards today, but I'm 43 minutes in and my finger's still not 100% better. But I think instead of pulling cards for the twin flame message, I'm going to start another round of zodiac. So keep an eye for that. If you would like to get in for a personal or a twin flame reading or a transit chart reading, check out the description box below. Shoot me an email. I would love to get that booked in for you. I am all booked up for the rest of this week and half booked into the next week. So just keep that in mind. There's a little bit of a wait to get in for booking. Although the transit chart read is a really nice way to book a session and not have to allot a specific amount of time, because it's an email read with a pre-recorded video, like a personal video that you and only you get the link to. So if that's something that interests you and it's a time saver, hit me up for that. In the description box below is my email. And I hope you all have a great day, everybody. Thank you.